Good morning, guys, and welcome to the 21metrics breakfast today with George Groshkov. And he has joined me to discuss markets and tell about his business, Mint Ventures. George is a very long-term crypto guy, and he's also an expert in AI and many fields, NFTs. I guess I'll just let George talk about Mint Ventures, his company. Please, George.
Hello, everyone, and thanks again for inviting me, Timo. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a fruitful discussion. Essentially, Mint Ventures is a venture studio. We're based in Estonia, and we're focusing on two primary verticals. One is artificial intelligence, which involves like all kinds of automations, chatbots, assistants, agents, and so forth. And the other part is Web3, where we focus on mostly products regarding e-commerce, proof of purchase, other things related to data integrity and so forth. The two verticals actually complement each other, and most of our companies that we work with and we incubate and help have a component of both sides, and has either it's going to be on the client side or either some kind of on the infrastructure side. We do co-financing. We help early stage companies also with go-to-market and product development. And on the product development side, we're very eager and have the resources to basically create quite quickly an MVP and launch it on the market to get as soon as possible exposure to the real clients. We do this because we want to understand how viable any idea is. Sometimes we use our own IPs and our own hypotheses. Other times we also invite, of course, the founders who have great ideas to launch with us. Here, the idea is that from a time frame perspective, from 3 to 6 months, the idea and the founders can be validated, understand if it's actually working and how it could be then potentially pivoted. And then after that, if we reach a KPI of a certain amount of MRR, we then help the founders as well in the financing part, where we invite them to join with them, have a discussion with investors, and potentially help them on leading and executing the financial round. That being said, I'm happy to discuss more about where the markets are going right now, because it's a very interesting time, especially with all the things we have seen in the AI space, and how also that affect the Web3 space, and how also we as entrepreneurs per se, as core people, have these knowledges in both markets, and how these kind of that know-how can complement each other.
Yes, thanks for the great introduction, and I guess like we can really see that Bitcoin, crypto, and AI are like overlapping, as you said. That like we had this big scene, and we could see all of them together. So Mint Ventures has some interesting projects. But let's take a look at the markets first. So as George knows, and our viewers know, Bitcoin has now reached like 81,000 USD for the first time ever. So we are reaching new all-time highs on a daily basis right now. So it's very like exceptional time to be alive, and time to be a Bitcoin crypto investor. So I think we could even reach 100K in Q4 before the end of year. We still have November and December. So if we continue at this pace, we'll be in six figures easily.
Very possible.
Yeah, by the end of the year, and Bitcoin now has this kind of price discovery cycle. So we are now discovering new price levels, and interesting. We could also see kind of like a supply shock in play. So when the demand rises, like the supply still stays the same, and like there's only a certain amount of bitcoins around, and in theory 21 million, but the actual number is a lot less because of the lost coins and everything. So what do you think about this market setting and the environment, George?
I think two things. One thing is that obviously there was a lot of cash on the sidelines, and people were waiting to as well to see like what's going to happen with the American election.
Yeah,
There was a lot of cash in probably in just being there, not being utilized, and now with the new second macro coming up with more easing, mm, cash has to be deployed somehow. The other part is that I think Bitcoin became sort of a, because we consider it back in the days more as an asset of risk, or maybe even an asset that just can be traded in and out for on a yearly basis. Now actually Bitcoin becomes like a more an asset that you actually need to hold for maybe 10 to 20 years, because it turned out to be that you actually, if you want to trade, if you really need to trade Bitcoin, then you're actually going to probably lose in the market's volatility. So technically I think how also companies and governments are now seeing Bitcoin is much more, I would say, longer term perspective. So
yeah,
there isn't any more just a quick asset that I can liquidate every time soon and get maybe money out. This is
yeah,
a long term asset, and has, I think, proven to be a lot, and helped, of course, founders and the Web3 ecosystem as well to become more, how to say, visible
yeah.
to traditional people.
Yeah, there's like a rumor going around that we have a state level buyer with this huge buying pressure now, and they
Yeah.
say there could be. We know that the many states have been mining Bitcoin, but there could be like an actual like spot buyer. I mean, on state level. So
Interestingly, on that subject, I wanted to add that probably countries like El Salvador will be the big winners, and countries as Germany, who sold a lot of bitcoins, are going to be the big losers.
yeah,
This is it's hilarious what Germany did, and it's very wise what El Salvador turned out to do. So it might be we're maybe going into a world that probably by capitalization, El Salvador maybe will be much better off than a country like Germany.
yeah,
Just maybe a bit too controversial here to say, but it's maybe possible.
yeah, it is possible. Yeah, and also like in addition to states, we have institutions buying. And yesterday I wrote on X that if you look at MSTR company, Sailor's micro strategy company, it hasn't been buying since like late September for 2 months now. But looking at Sailor's comments, I guess they're like resuming the program in November and December, and it's like they have this pro cyclical purchase program, and I guess Sailor will be buying more soon. And other institutions are also in accumulation mode. So interesting. It could be like state level and institutions and retail obviously too. But
But
I think like the real
think,
retail,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, please.
just to add here that if actually he reaches such a velocity and amount of Bitcoin, that's already a factor that we cannot like avoid. Neither governments, neither businesses, neither the ecosystem. So there is also maybe not a risk for that, but I think that's also needs to be taken in consideration. And I think Michael Saylor is also putting a very clear message that he wants to have piece of that land,
Yeah,
and I think we need to acknowledge that. And then when people realize it, that a certain player has a big chunk of the land and the market is fastly growing, then things could take Bitcoin very exponentially far from much far from like the prices we see now.
yes, And also we have this like Metaplanet, which we discussed with Song
Yeah.
some time ago, like this Japanese institution who's following sailors' footsteps basically. And
Yeah.
it's like the MSTR story has been a success, and other companies are following its modus operandi. We don't have that many companies in Europe yet. We at least I know this. We have some Bitcoin related companies, and we had this Norwegian Aker who bought Bitcoin. It was back in 21, but not that many companies actually here. So I'm also waiting that when we'll see this new inflow of
Hmm.
European Bitcoin companies. Let's see. They're usually maybe lacking a bit behind.
There's some, we know also French entities are buying Bitcoin a lot because of hedging and of course other things related to
Yeah.
France, maybe a bit more prone to crypto.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, Norway, of course, mentioned. We know, like in the Baltics, like companies are buying Bitcoin too.
Yeah. And there
Uh,
used to be like OTC buying going on, like hidden buys. So they not in public. I'm sure there is like hedge funds and whatever.
mm,
So we only have a couple of very public companies, but
mhm,
then like yeah,
mhm.
must be other stuff happening. Um, yeah, and also like when I talk about this supply shock, so if when we see the like buying pressure growing, there is just a certain amount of available bitcoins, and people want to hold their coins. You don't have to sell them, or you don't want to sell them. So that will like further increase the spot price when the supply is low. So we might have this kind of like perfect storm. Back when the US based spot ETFs were launched, there was like this rumor that ETFs might not be getting enough coins by themselves, and some guy even said that ETFs would be calling these old Bitcoin holders that do you have any any OTC? So I
Mhm.
don't know, maybe it's a rumor, but if you really escalate the situation, you really see that the yeah, supply is getting lower. So
Mhm.
interesting. And many analysts say that we could even reach like 150K maybe late this year or early in the spring before correction. Let's see. Obviously, there will be like spot correction at some point, but I think it's not here yet.
Mhm.
So interesting stuff. Also, like we have been talking about Bitcoin, but what do you think about Ethereum, George? So what is like the status of Ethereum and Vitalik Buterin? So yeah,
Ethereum is in his catharsis period again.
yeah,
Look, the main issue I think was coming from the fact that the Ethereum ecosystem had to scale with the promise that actually you can build like consumer apps and other very much scalable products with using the infrastructure of Ethereum or layer twos. I don't think we're there yet because it just timeline. It just took a lot of time to basically make those promises alive, and they're still not actually quite there.
yeah,
Um, that being said, the expectations basically was that okay, we will be able to how to say provide the tools and provide the infrastructure for developers to continue build. But what happened is that it kind of imploded, where developers from the ecosystem of Ethereum just started building inside the products of Ethereum, more products for Ethereum, more products for the ecosystem, and kind of closed that the user base to be inside only that ecosystem and maybe inside the crypto, which is fine, but it's also still a small market.
yeah,
And when you come to the point that where you actually need to acquire new users, then it becomes harder because then the funnel is not that open anymore.
yeah,
And building too much oracles and DeFi's is just not going to help, right? And I strongly believe that more on ramps are needed still, and if it's gonna come from gaming or something other sectors that we will be able to get the users, that will be great. I think on the other hand, positive side. You still have the developers, you still have the energy, and frankly, I think some of them still have the cash, which will keep them moving, keep them going. We don't know how for long, maybe 2-3 more years. They will kind of be there, and they will be able to build those products.
Yeah.
And at some point, probably there will be a tipping point where I would say just the consumers will be already on the blockchain much more. I would say much more seamless, and then eventually probably Ethereum also will have the shine that light and have the chance to shine. A lot of there's competition, of course, both from Solana, Sui, and other chains, but I don't think they're actually kind of yet they're advanced with all the tools and technical tools. There's a lot of trading on that chains, yes,
Yeah.
and things like that, but it's not enough actually to build again next phase consumer apps.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think if there is a way we could take Ethereum and maybe help Ethereum to be a sort of a security data integration layer to data integrity on for AI models or AI products, or create democratized marketplaces for coders to build models and to build AI and so forth. And probably this could be some way to have another big leap for Ethereum to be used.
Yeah. And like last year, when you looked at the market, all the meme coins were launched on Solana. So that was kind of like
Yeah,
not a good sign for Ethereum. So
yeah,
Solana somehow like managed to capture all the meme coin market where the like actual hype was, and also maybe it's maybe there's some kind of like investment narrative difficulty in a way. And I was also thinking about like Vitalik. So many of these many of tech companies and also these protocols are like revolving around the founder or CEO. And maybe Vitalik hasn't been that public. He used to be very public, but it's really while it's kind of like it's a decentralized protocol, but it's still like he's it's very he's a important figure in that protocol for sure.
I think he is. It just may be a matter of how he actually wants to present Ethereum and more professionally wise.
Yeah.
That happens, that will be great, and I think it needs to come to a more mature state in that sense.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay, I guess we have now talked for almost 20 minutes, so I guess this was a very good wrap up, and hopefully we'll get to talk with George again. And
Maybe last thing that we haven't touched upon. I
yeah,
think uh, I think realistically, if we're talking about markets and where technological markets are going, we still believe if you actually we use blockchain layer and even Bitcoin as a source of truth for all the data we create and all the content we create, probably
yeah,
there will be a great match for AI, and there will be great ways for startups to challenge the incumbents and make big leaps in the markets.
yeah,
That's my final words, basically.
yes, yes. So Bitcoin is a source of truth. I like it.
Yeah. True.
As Sarah said, like Bitcoin is digital energy and digital property. So I guess this fits his thesis also. So yeah. So
Exactly.
you're almost like a European sailor, I would say. Like maybe in future, maybe in 30 years, something. So,
Yes.
okay.
No, pen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Awesome to have you on board as usual. Yes.
Thank you so much.
So please check Mint Ventures. I'll add the link,
Yes.
and also check our partners QuarnX and Starchief.ai. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mid-matches.xyz. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye bye.